Our next guest has weighed the promise of a digitally connected world and found it wanting. He observes that for many, the hopes of a connection to a global community has actually left us in gnawing isolation. His work as a consultant with leading-edge companies has led him to insights that are changing the way they do business. But tonight he shares these with us. Please welcome Eric Termuende.
I want to show you guys something. This is my new phone. I just got a text from my brother. Thank you, Joel. And this new phone, of course, doesn't matter the model, doesn't matter the company that built it. We do know that it was very expensive, right? Because all new smartphones are very expensive. And while it is a phone, we do recognize that I'm a millennial and I'll probably never use the phone itself. I'll probably just text and screen the calls that come in. And so when we do see that these phones are new and they're expensive, we often talk about the cost of these devices. What we don't talk about, though, is the cost of using these devices. And in early economics, we learn that the opportunity cost of something is the loss of potential gain from an alternative when the other alternative is chosen. So for example, if I'm on my phone texting, what am I missing right in front of me? And so when we talk about these phones, again, we talk about the cool things that we do. If we ask any of my friends about the animojis that I'll send them with talking pandas and monkeys and cats, we talk about the conversation-killing debates when we can Google something. We talk about the ability to find the answer to anything at any time right in our fingertips. The answers are right there. And this has all happened in the past 10 years. 10 years ago, the first iPhone came out. 10 years ago, life as we knew it fundamentally changed, right? We could have the ability to Google anything. We have calculators, cameras, we had internet. We had all of these things right at our fingertips. We didn't have to be tied to a desk. We didn't have to do the QWERTY or the 1 to 9 keyboard where we type, one button 3 times to get to the letter K. Things changed, right? And so when I started to realize this honeymoon phase of technology that I think we've got in, I think we don't really realize the implications of it. But if you're as keen and observant as I am, and you walk down the street from time to time, you see heads are down, hands are up. If you're on the bus or the C bus or the Canada line, you'll see headphones in, eyes down. Actually, in a study of 3 million drivers last year, 88% of them were reported to be using their phone at some point in time. This is incredible stuff. This has fundamentally changed our lives. And so this has happened in such a recent time. And so I took it upon myself to really understand how much are people using these phones? How much are we actually on our devices? And while the results varied quite significantly, on average, we're using our phones 3.5 hours a day. 53 days a year. Over 12 years of our life. On our phone, staring at our screen, wondering what's on here that's not out here. What are we missing? That's a significant chunk of time. And I wondered, too, if that's the amount of time that we're on our phone, what are the health implications of this? What does that mean, aside from what we're missing? Aside from parenting where kids are on iPads at the dinner table, where we're crushing debate and crushing conversation because we can Google something, where teens and people, even my age, maybe even myself, we're texting people that aren't even at the dinner table with us. I think this is a problem. I think actually we're more alone than we've ever been before. Statistically, the number of people who are reported to be lonely have quadrupled in the last 4 decades. When Americans were asked how many true confidants they had, people they could go to when they were struggling, people they could trust with anything, the most common response was 0. And the number of people who reported 0 had tripled in recent decades. Last year, a Harvard Business Review article came out that said we are more lonely than we've ever been before. Upwards of 40% of corporate America are reporting to be lonely. We don't belong anymore. This has significant health implications. The cost of being lonely is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. This is real stuff, and it's at our fingertips. And we've got the opportunity to fix it. Just last week, my roommate came up to me, and he sat me down, and he said, "I want to acknowledge you for the work that you're doing." I've never been sat down and acknowledged before. That was incredible. And so I said, okay, let me try this too. How does this feel? And sat him down and acknowledged him for the work that he was doing. And the impact that had on us was profound. We even hugged it out after. It was nice. And so, while this might be a call to put our phones away and shut them off and throw them in the garbage because this is terrifying stuff, it's not. I get it. These things are incredible. We can work remotely. We can call and connect with family that we haven't maybe seen in years. We can answer any question in the world. We can work earlier and later. And wait, these aren't sounding like benefits anymore. These are really sounding like problems. But what I'm getting at is that the use of our cell phone has fundamentally changed our lives. And the kicker is that the World Economic Forum states that we're now entering the fourth industrial revolution. One where we're not taking steps forward anymore, we're taking exponential leaps. And if we've seen any of the presentations before mine, we can agree that that's true. We know that just last year, a zettabyte of information was transferred across the World Wide Web. A zettabyte is the equivalent of 250 billion DVDs of information. I was speaking at a conference last year in Los Angeles with the head of IBM's Watson supercomputer project, and he said that 90% of the information on the internet today was put there in the past 2 years. And so while we think that we've plateaued, while we think that these numbers have flattened out, I promise you we're just getting started. I promise you that the technology that we're going to have access to is going to be incredible, and we don't even know that it's coming yet. Because in the past 10 years, we've gone from no iPhone to talking emojis. And I'm not complaining about that, but I'm complaining about losing some of my friends. I'm complaining about losing some of the connection. I am worried about losing that sense of belonging and friendship that I've got with people that I really care about. I'm worried about them losing me for the same reasons. And while this might seem like a negative talk, it might seem like a bit of a warning, they say that it's darkest before dawn. And in this case, we get to choose when the sun rises. Because we get to choose to acknowledge people. We get to choose to look them in the eye. We get to choose to care about them. We get to choose to ask them, not just how was your day, but what did you accomplish today? What are you excited about? What problems are you looking to solve? And how can I help? How can I acknowledge you for what you've done today? The incredible effort that you've put in to keep your busy life complete, to allow you to feel fulfilled and full, and to get the most out of this crazy, busy world that we're all trying to navigate. And so while we're so often talking about the cost of the device, I'm stuck wondering, what's the cost of using this device? What's the cost of connection? I'll leave it to you to answer that question for yourself. Thank you.